Ambassador Kethvar's four eyes dilated in what could only be described as horror as he watched the human delegation enter the Galactic Council chambers. The Terran representatives moved with their characteristic swagger, completely oblivious to the whispers and chittering that followed their entrance. "Reckless," hissed Counselor Zix Theta, her serpentine form coiling tighter around her speaking platform. "That's what they are. Absolute madness." The emergency session had been called after the Void Hunters, a nomadic fleet of raiders, had destroyed 3 outer colonies in as many days. The Council's traditional response would be deliberate, months of planning, careful resource allocation, and a methodical military campaign that would take years to reach fruition. It was the civilized way. Human Admiral Sarah Chen stepped to the podium, her uniform crisp despite having traveled for 6 days straight from the human sectors. "Honored counselors," she began, "we've reviewed the Void Hunter threat assessment. We can have them eliminated within the month." The chamber erupted in clicking, screeching, and various forms of alien laughter. A month. The Korthani military, considered among the most efficient in the galaxy, would need 18 months minimum for such an operation. "Impossible," declared High Counselor Veltar, his crystalline form resonating with skepticism. "The Void Hunters possess 17 Dreadnought-class vessels and over 300 support ships. They operate from mobile stations that phase shift through subspace. Your species has been in galactic civilization for barely 2 centuries. You lack the infrastructure, the experience." "We lack the bureaucracy," Admiral Chen interrupted, earning gasps from several delegates. "While you're forming committees to discuss forming committees, those raiders are burning worlds. We don't have time for your slow-motion waltz around proper procedure." Kethvar leaned forward, his translator struggling with human idioms. "Admiral, surely you understand the complexities involved. Shipyard construction alone would require—" "Already handled," Chen said, activating her holographic display. 47 minutes ago, the Terra Engineering Corps broke ground on 12 emergency shipyards across 6 systems. Construction begins today." The silence that followed was deafening. Even the usually chattering Pictar delegation fell quiet. "That's—" Counselor Zixa Theta's voice box warbled in confusion. "That's not how industrial planning works. Environmental surveys, resource allocation studies, labor negotiations. Done, and volunteers are already boarding transport ships," Chen replied. "Our engineers have a saying, 'Good enough is perfect when perfect isn't fast enough.'" High Counselor Veltar's crystal structure flickered rapidly, a sign of extreme agitation. "Even if you could build the infrastructure that quickly, which is doubtful, constructing proper warships requires years of—" 2 weeks, Chen said simply. The sound that emerged from the assembled delegates could only be described as a collective alien stroke. Ambassador Kethvar's 4 eyes began rotating independently, a sign of severe mental distress among his species. 2 weeks? He managed to croak. To build what exactly? 18 heavy assault cruisers modified for anti-raider operations. We call them headhunters. Chen's smile was predatory. Our designers have been working on the specs during the trip here. They finished 3 hours ago. Counselor Zixa Theta's head appendages waved frantically. Impossible. Proper warship design takes decades of testing, refinement. Your proper warships are built to last centuries and fight hypothetical perfect battles, Chen interrupted. Ours are built to kill raiders and survive long enough to do it. We don't need pretty. We need functional. We don't need perfect. We need now. High Counselor Veltar's crystalline form had dimmed to a worried amber. The materials alone. We requisitioned 3 asteroid belts this morning. Mining platforms are already in position. Chen's casual tone made the massive undertaking sound like a grocery run. The Martian Fabrication Guild is retooling as we speak. Raw materials will start flowing tomorrow. But quality control, safety protocols. Ambassador Kethvar's voice had risen to a near shriek. The risk of catastrophic failure is significantly lower than the risk of letting those raiders continue their rampage while we spend 18 months in committee meetings, Chen snapped. Every day we delay, they hit another colony. Every week you spend analyzing optimal solutions, they kill another 1,000,000 civilians. The chamber fell silent. The humans had a point, even if their methods gave every other species collective anxiety attacks. Even assuming your timeline is possible, Veltar said slowly, crew training for such vessels would require, already recruited, Volunteer crews from the Merchant Marine, System Defense Forces, and anyone crazy enough to sign up. Chen's grin widened. Training starts the moment the ship's hulls are sealed. They'll learn on the job. Learn? On the job? Cathvar's translator actually sparked with overload. Best way there is. Nothing beats leave fire experience. Chen shrugged. Look, you can keep telling us why it can't be done, or you can get out of our way and let us do it. Your choice. The vote was unanimous. Not because the other species agreed with human methods, but because they were too horrified to argue further. 18 days later, the Terran Rapid Response Fleet dropped out of hyperspace in the Kepler Nebula, where the Void Hunters had been tracked. 18 ships built with what the rest of the galaxy considered impossible speed and reckless disregard for proper protocols. The battle lasted 4 hours. When it ended, the Void Hunters had been completely eliminated, their 17 dreadnoughts reduced to expanding clouds of debris. Admiral Chen's after-action report to the Galactic Council was characteristically brief. Mission accomplished. Total casualties, 47 injured, 0 killed. All 18 ships returning to base for refit and improvement based on combat data. Estimated time for upgrades, 1 week. The report concluded with a line that would become legendary in diplomatic circles. Next time, we'll build them faster. Ambassador Cathvar read the report 3 times before filing it. His 4 eyes still refusing to focus properly. In the margin, he wrote a single note that would define human-alien relations for generations. They're not reckless. They're terrifying.